Hey, this is John. Welcome back to Modern Old School Developer. In this episode, we're going to continue replacing our fetch calls with Redux query use mutation hooks. So let's do some more of that. So back in our main page, we've got the submit handler for our movie update form. So let's go make a query for that. Inside our API, let's scroll up to, what do we have here? We've got movie delete. Let's make a movie update. Updates a movie information in the database. Movie update is going to be a builder mutation. It returns a movie type, and we need to make a custom type for what we're supplying to our query. So we'll say this is a movie update type. All right. And it takes an object, and let's comment this out for now. And let's go define this movie update type. So over here in our state, we will say export interface movie update type. And what are we going to have in there? Well, we're going to need a few things. You can see that in our main page, we need the movie ID and a body, which has all of these things. So we'll need to have all those things in our type to be able to use them. So we're going to need some kind of ID, which we're storing as a string most places, so we'll use that here as well. In addition to that, we're going to need all of those parameters for what we're supplying as the JSON body. Over in put movies ID, you can see that is all of these things. So let's go back into our state. You can see what they look like. So let's say name is a string, although it might be null. And then we have series ID, and I'm going to use this naming convention rather than the more common JavaScript naming convention like this, so that we can destructure all of our properties and convert them more easily. So I'm going to say series underscore ID just as we're supplying it in the JSON body. And that's going to be a number, or it might be null. There's a series number, which again is a number, or it's null. And finally, a studio ID, which is a number, or it's null. All right, that takes care of our object. Let's go import that new type. All right, now that we have that, we can start defining our object. We're going to need a query. So the query is going to take some parameters, and it's going to get an object of this type. So we will destructure that object. We will get the ID, and then everything else we'll call the body. All right, so after that, it's going to be an arrow function that returns an object. We're going to have the URL, which is going to be /movies with ID. The method is going to be not post, but put. And finally, we have the body, which we will have right here. All right, what else do we have? Well, it needs to invalidate tags, and I think it's going to invalidate both the movie and the movies, because we're going to change the movie we're currently on, so you need to refetch that, and it's going to update the movie list so that reflects in those list of movies. All right, that should be everything for this. Let's go export that use hook. So let's see here. Use movie delete. Use movie update mutation. All right, so where does that leave us? Let's go back to main page and let's make use of this query. So we don't have any queries right now, so let's say const trigger, and it should be an array structure, const trigger equals use movie update mutation. Okay, that should be everything we need for that. So we've got this body object. That's almost everything we need. But actually, we need one more thing. We need the ID to be on there. So let's change that to have ID, which is going to be movie ID. Instead of calling this body, we'll call it params. And then we have this right here. We don't need to do that anymore. Let's just comment that out. And then we're going to use the hook. So we're going to have our try catch block again. I don't really think we need anything from here as far as the data coming back goes. So I think we can just do await trigger, and the object is going to be params, and we will unwrap those. And if it is successful, we're simply going to do this, helpers.setStatus. All right, that should be good. And then we'll catch error, and we will give the error. And let's put that right here. So there we go. We need to import our fetch base query error and our exception type. And then set status should be helpers.setStatus in here. So that should be good. We can comment this out now. And let's go test that out and make sure that works. Let's go into our movie manager. And let's change the Karate Kid's name. Karate Kid 40404044. There we go. We have updated that. I know what's going on. I removed some of these movies and re-imported them. These are actually sorted on top because I removed them. Never mind. Ignore that. All right, this is Animated Family, Update, Beauty and the Beast, Animated Family, Update, and Aladdin, Animated Family, Update. There we go. Okay, we should have all of our data, so if we go and change the name, okay, and then we go back and forth, we still have the correct names. We have updated our movie data in the background. The last fetch to be replaced is in the movie property form. It shouldn't be too difficult, although we do need to make 12 new endpoints, 3 for each of the movie properties, actors, categories, studios, and series. So let's start by defining the type of data that the endpoints will take, because they all take 1 or 2 fields, and they're all the same for all the endpoints. We need an ID for remove and update. We need a name for add and update, and remove doesn't need the name ever. So let's go make a type that has both an ID and a name, and we just won't use what we don't need. So in our state, we'll make a new interface, export interface movie property type, and we'll have an ID, which is a string, and a name, which is a string. All right, there we go. Let's go into Movie Manager API, and let's make a new endpoint for actor. So add new actor to backend, delete actor from backend, update actor on backend. All right, first one's going to be actor add. It's a builder.mutation. It returns an actor type, although I don't think we'll actually be using that. And it takes one of those movie property type we just defined. All right, we need an object. And let's see here, what do we need in here? We need the query. And we're going to have, for add, we just need the name. So we will destructure our object to get just the name. Or actually, what I need is to have the ID, which I'm not going to use, and then we'll have the body, which will be the name in an object. All right, it's going to return an object. We need the URL, which is going to be just /actors. There's no ID here. And then we have the method, which is post. And finally, the body, which is the body. All right, so let's say it invalidates tags, and if we're adding a new actor, it's obviously going to need to refresh our actors list. All right, so that should be good for that. Let's go see if we can import that type. All right, we've got that now, so that should be good. All right, what if we want to delete an actor? Well, let's say actor delete builder.mutation. This returns nothing important, so we'll put void there. And again, movie property type. So our object is going to be a query. So this time we need the ID, but we don't need the name. We can get rid of the body entirely. So we'll just use that. It's going to return an object. The URL is actors with the ID, so it needs to be a template string then. The method is going to be delete, and there's no body at all. All right, so then we invalidates tags again. And again, if we delete an actor, need to update our actors list. All right, so finally we have our actor update. So actor update, builder.mutation. It will return actor type, but again, don't think I should be using that. And then we give it a movie property type. We have the query, which is going to take, we need both the ID and the body this time. It's going to return an object with the URL. It's the same URL we had before, so /actors with the ID. Method this time is going to be put. And we also need to supply the body. And then invalidates tags is going to be actors. And that should be good for all of those. I'll make the rest of the endpoints off camera. So let's go add our mutation hook exports. So use actor add mutation, use actor delete mutation, use actor update mutation. All right, there we go. We've got our new mutation queries. So in movie property form, what are we going to do here? Well, the first thing to do will be getting our trigger functions. So const actor add mutation trigger. I won't even call it mutation. Should I just call it add trigger? That seems fine. Use actor add mutation. And then we'll change add. So let's do this. And this will be delete. And then we have update. Now we need to import both of these, I think. And that should be good. We have our triggers in here now. Did this not get imported? I guess not. Okay. So now it should be all good. So how are we going to change this function? Well, I think for the moment, I'm going to comment out everything. Just everything it does past this one thing that filters out removing without a selection. So that's all we're going to do so far. So we need to figure out what trigger we want. So our trigger is either going to be the add, delete, or update. So let's say let trigger, and I don't know what it's going to be yet, so let's switch on our various conditions. Yeah, so let's switch on selection. So case actor, case category, case studio, and case series. All right, here are our options. Now, on this, we're going to have 3 different types. So how should we handle that? Should we put it inside here as well? I think we're going to have to. So we're going to have a switch statement in here as well. We're going to switch on action, and case is going to be add or remove or update. Okay, so what we're going to say is trigger equals actor add trigger, and we'll break on that. So we'll copy this, and we'll change these from add to be update and delete. So we have our trigger at least for our actors. And let's go ahead and break there. And for now, only to say return for now. That way we'll get out of this function, won't do anything. That'll be good for the moment. We'll fix that in a minute once we have our rest of our endpoints. So we have our parameters as well. So const params, and that's going to be an object which has an ID, which is going to be our name selection, and our name, which is going to be, I think just name, right? We've got that in there, it's name. Yeah, we've got name right there. Okay, so there are our parameters. So we should be able to run our trigger function now and see what happens. So I think we can do try, and we will do await trigger params dot unwrap, and if we succeeded, it'll be as if we had this case right here. So let's say this, and we'll do that, and I think that should be good for that. Otherwise, we will catch an error, and let's go get our error. Yeah, so we get our error, we get all of that. It should be helper set status though. We need to import these things as well. So fetch base query error and our exception type. We've got this selection title and this verb. So where are those coming from? All right, so where do we comment those out? Let's get those back. So let's uncomment this. We'll put that one above here. Let's put that right over here. All right, we've got that. And then verb, that was going to be over here. So we'll have to add that as well. We need to get this in here. And we need to let verb. Did I have that defined as something? I did. I had it right here. Let's copy that. And let's say let verb is that. Get rid of URL and method. Okay, there we go. That should set our verb. And I think that's everything. I might switch this around to put these inside here so we can piggyback off having the switch of action. But other than that, I think it should be okay. For right now, that's looking all right to me. So I believe this should work for actors. I don't think it'll work for anything else, obviously. We don't have any of the endpoints, but for actors, it should work. Oh, we don't want to do this anymore either. Oh, no, we do. We do, don't we? Yeah. We don't need a switch statement anymore down there, though, because there's nothing in here we're using. We're not using this endpoint anymore. So we can get rid of that. And instead of doing this down here, we're just going to call a helper. And if that's the case, it probably doesn't need to be a function at all. It definitely doesn't, because we don't need the function anymore. Okay, let's get rid of this. Maybe this. What is this doing? Okay, that should be right. So we're not going to have the helpers anymore. We're just going to call this function. We need to make the onSubmit be async now. And other than that, I think we should be fine. So yeah. And let's see here. That's helpers. That's changing it if we got the right value, which we probably didn't do. We don't want to have an error. We don't want to do this on success. So let's do that as well. All right, now I think it'll work. So let's rename Elizabeth Shue and see what happens. We go to admin. Let's update an actor. Let's look for Elizabeth Shue. No, not Elijah Wood. Elizabeth Shue. And let's use the more common spelling of Elizabeth. Update the actor. She was updated. It says, go back to main. She's still wrong over here. She's still wrong over here. It's correct over here. If I hit refresh, okay, interesting. All right, so updating an actor does need to refresh the movie list and the current movie. So let's go fix that in our API. I believe that's the only place where that would need to occur, because if you're adding or deleting an actor, you can't delete an actor that's on a movie. So you can't invalidate things there. And if you're adding an actor, it won't already exist to need updating. So only when you change an actor's name would you need to refresh your current movie and your current movies. All right, that looks good to me right now. So let's refresh this. All right, let's put her back to the correct name and see if that works. So let's update the actor Elizabeth Shue, and it's spelled with an S. All right, she's been updated. We go back here, Elizabeth Shue, Elizabeth Shue. Elizabeth, whatever. So yeah, that looks like it worked. So all we should need to do then is make the new endpoints for categories, series, and studios, and then fix the property form to run there. Let me go make those changes off camera real quick, and then we'll come back and see if everything works. All right, hopefully it all works. I've added endpoints for studios and series and categories, and I've exported all of those new endpoints. Movie property form imports all the new endpoints, and we are using all of them right here. So actors, categories, series, and studios. Inside the on submit, it's basically the same thing. I moved it to being switched on action because we need verb as well. So I can put that there and then switch on selection. So we've got the trigger down here and actor delete, category, series, studio, and then down here. So hopefully it all works. We're going to find out. We go to there, no issues found. So yeah, let's try it out. So let's start with adding a new actor. How about Jeremy Renner? We'll add that. Actor has been added. All right, that's good. Shouldn't have affected anything, so that should be okay. What if we update an actor? If we update Jeremy Renner to Jeremy Renner, well, he's been updated, and this thing changed too, so that's nice. I go look at actors over here. I can't look in there right now, but Jeremy Renner, all right, it's been updated. All right. What if I want to remove Jeremy Renner? Goodbye, he's gone. And there we go. All right, I've got no selection. If I hit remove, it's supposed to say you can't do that. So that's interesting. Let's go look and see why that is. I think right here, if we set the name selection to be blank, it will fix that problem. So what do we need to do there? Name selection is blank. What if we do this? If action is remove, we will blank that out. So we'll do that right down here. If action is removed, then we will do helpers.setField, not error, value, not that, value. And it should be name selection. We'll set that to blank. All right, let's see if that fixes that problem. So let's add Jeremy Renner again. Whatever. And I update that or remove it. There we go. If I remove that, it's gone. And I remove, okay, that looks better. All right, let's see if that works out. So if I hit update, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's try a category too. Let's try to add a new category. Horror. There we go, it's been added. Yep, we're over there. That looks pretty good. You know, I'm thinking I shouldn't have refreshed some of the things. A category cannot change the movie list, so we don't need to refresh movies in the category endpoints. So back in our Movie Manager API, over in the category update, we don't need to refetch the movies. That can never change that list. So that can go away. All right, so let's see, what else can we do? Can we rename a category? Let's rename the horror category. It's horror. There we go, been updated. All right, looks good there. I have a message over here, that looks good. Can I remove our category? Yep, we can. Can I remove the category action? No, we can't. Movie exists with category action ID 1, and that message came directly from the backend. I didn't make that, so that's working as well. I believe everything looks good. Let's just make sure I can rename this. So I can't remove this. Yep. Can I update Dark Knight Trilogy? I can. So what happened there? That should be in Warner Brothers Trilogy 3. Yep, that's good. It's over here as well. Yep, I think that's okay. So let's go name that back. Not that, name series. Let's go update that again. All right. And I think everything is working. Can we delete Columbia Pictures? Or, nope, we cannot. Can we remove that now? Make a selection. Can we update Columbia Pictures? Yep, we can. And go back to the top of the list. Yeah, Columbia Pictures. And our file name is correct. And yeah, all of this looks pretty good. So Studio, let's update Columbia Pictures. Let's get rid of those X's on the end of the name. Let's add a new Studio. TriStar, maybe, I don't know. We have a new Studio. Studio could be TriStar. I already have TriStar. Okay. Let's remove that Studio then. There we go. TriStar removed. But I can't remove that because we're using that. Perfect. All right. I'm thinking all this worked. And with that, we are done. Done with our refactor, done with version 2.0, and done with the series, in fact. Yes, after 35 episodes, the Movie Manager application is complete. It is now every bit as good, and in fact, in many places, much better than the demo I showed off at the beginning of the series. By the way, I will be posting that code in the GitHub. I'll make a branch, original or demo or something, I don't know. And you can see that if you want to compare the differences. I don't know if anyone will, but I'll put it up there just in case. So, if you made it this far, hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I hope that the series has been helpful to you in some way. I hope most of all that you learned something. Something about React, or Typescript, or Redux Toolkit, or React Router, or Formic, or Tailwind, or FastAPI, or Python, or SQLAlchemy, or SQLite, or anything else that I'd use to build this application that I'm forgetting right now. So this series was never meant to be a tutorial on any of those technologies. Rather, it was meant to show off the software development process using those technologies in a complete application from start to finish. So this is a demo application, but there are no placeholder pieces. There is a front end and a back end. The state is handled. The errors are handled. The application has been polished to a probably ridiculous degree for a demo, but that's part of the process, polishing the application. So that's why I started this channel, to show off that process, because it's something that usually takes too long to be done in a YouTube tutorial. So I hope that's been helpful to you in some manner. And if so, I hope you'll be back to see more. As for me, I've been John, the modern old school developer. Thanks for watching. See you next time.